Hello, today I'd like to talk about Fara Homidi, the refill of her eyeshadows. I was too curious to try this trio. I'm ready to tell you my thoughts. As you can see, as always with this Fara Homidi product, the bronzer, that, by the way, I've just decluttered. Since I understood from my previous video about bronzers that the color was not unique, considering my collection, and I had formulas that I preferred. But also that bronzer, as well as this trio, have the same size, and this refill fits perfectly the Hermes blush case. The thing is, there's a little bit of thickness, so the closure is not perfect. Will this damage the eyeshadows? I don't think so. But the refill comes anyway in a practical plastic case that, I think it's a bit hard, but in case I want to travel, I will use this case. And the color reminds the one of the proper case that is very expensive. Is brown for the bronzer and black for the eyeshadows, just like the bigger regular case. But I picked the refill because I didn't want to spend double the price just to have a plastic case. These are creams. As you can see, I picked the version with the black, and tell you why in a moment. What was intriguing to me was the concept. So these are eyeshadows that are meant to travel, crease not being set, but at the same time being a cream, they have this skin-like finish. I have to say, I like them. I like these eyeshadows, although I don't think is a must-buy. Why did I pick this version with the black? Of course, the one with the blue is more interesting. The difference between the black version and the blue version. Let me see, is this a true black? To me, it looks a true black. I have direct sunlight, unfortunately, because I think it's deceiving. I don't know. Is this black or kind of charcoal? I would say it's black, right? So I chose the version with the black because I didn't want blue traveling through my eyes, but black is more natural shadow around my eyes, and it makes the look sexier. The blue is interesting, but these are eyeshadows that travel on the skin during the day. I was not confident to have a blue with such a feature. So when I had to decide blue or black version, I thought of this palette I have from Flower Nose, and I see this blue. So I said, okay, if I want to, create a line, because anyway, the usage of blue, in my opinion, for my case would have been just liner, as a liner, or to mix with these browns to have more a taupish greenish color. But you know what, I have this taupish greenish color also here already, and this blue, I can use this one by Flower Nose to play with my blues instead of buying such an expensive cream. Since I can play with this blue here, and over the course of the day it will be as intense as a faded cream. So I said, okay, I will use this blue to satisfy my desire once over here and buy instead the black version, because a blackened cream is something that I would use more, or I would be more confident to see traveling through my eyes. This is the thing. Let's see the other colors. There's my favorite color, that is this middle one, and is this taupe. So this is a cream, a waxy cream, you see. Why you choose this type of finish? The reason why I was curious about this was that I don't have these type of cream eyeshadows. I usually don't buy them. The comparison that pops up to my mind is with the Surratt ones. There are cream eyeshadows by Surratt, but I never purchased them. The other cream form is in the form of stick eyeshadows, but those set and they don't move. So here the concept is totally the opposite, right? Then we have this brown, that is a darker brown. Now, my go-to look is using just these two. And this third color is something that I reserve for more special occasions. This is direct sunlight. This is indirect, I think is closer to reality. This middle brown looks lighter on my eyes. I like the skin-like effect. Now, do you need a cream to have the skin-like effect? The answer is not really. I want to check a comparison with other cream products that I have. What I noticed is that once it creases, and you will see the crease with this black color, so the worst creasing ever, right, with a dark color creasing. What I would say is that it's easier just with the finger to repristinate, let's say, kind of a nice look. So the thing is, with the finger, they blend very nicely. I told you before that I only had sticks, but it's not true. I now found this one in my drawer. This is very old, it's 10 years old, but still, Shiseido knows how to do products that last a long time. And as you can see, I love this one because it's a nice taupe and it's still creamy. It's fantastic. Since it doesn't smell, it looks fine. It's time to retrieve this and use it more. This is definitely more gray, so I can swatch it here because I know that it doesn't compare too much with these ones. Yeah, it's definitely more gray, so more desaturated compared to this type of brown here. And if you blend out the brown, you see that it's warmer than I was anticipating. You see? So this is definitely more desaturated. This is one of my favorite taupes because I'm soft in coloring, so I have a degree of desaturation in my skin. So gray shades do not like ashy on me, but they just look natural, like a natural shadow. And this gives a sophisticated looks. I can use strategically this shade to contour my eyes to make them look bigger. There's a shine in this eyeshadow too. These are thicker cream, but they can be blended and sheared out gracefully. So this is what I like from these. So the quality is there. It's just that is not a necessity. These two can be kind of everyday. So my goal is to pen these eventually, like I did for the Shiseido one. I mean, I can enjoy them a lot because that creamy finish is very flattering. The other comparison I would like to make is with this collection of Salt New York creams. I tend to use this color that is a contour color as my eyeshadow. This is a bit more waxy, so it's more difficult to spread, a little bit more difficult to even it out as it is with these Fara Homidi, but these are great as well. And you can see how close they are. This is quite close to this middle shade, right? Especially when it is blended out. That's why I said these were not totally necessary, because especially this one would be my most used shade, is very close to this Salt New York one. And I was already using it on my eyes. These are my most used shades. This I have to clean up, is a white. And I will use in the future these ones for, yeah, a play with the color. Going towards the powder form, I think the closest is the BYREDO. I talked about anti-oiling, the Fara Homidi Trio, and I said, okay, if I want this sheen, I can mimic it with powders. I was not very sure that the Fara Homidi would have been true creams or cream to powder. So I confirmed that these are true creams. Instead, these are true powders, but they have that satin finish that I love. And I said in that video that this trio, 1, 2, 3, from this BYREDO Bibliophilia palette, would have been the counterpart in this amazing formula by BYREDO that is so smooth but satin. So this would have been the lightest shade, and and is my favorite taupe. It's almost invisible now, but I can see it on the eyes. And then there's the brown. Then it's this one that I would squeeze here in the middle. This is quite light, but once blended becomes closer maybe to this cooler brown here. And then there was the darkest shade that, yeah, indeed is quite close to this brown. So yeah, indeed, the combination of these two especially made something very similar. And since this black, I use it blended, over blended. By over blending this, I get practically the same sheared out effect. The shades are quite close, are in the same family, and therefore a look with the Fara Homidi can be duplicated by this BYREDO Bibliophilia palette, this cooler part. Beauty finance here, the best value is the BYREDO in my opinion. But again, these are different things because the medium is different. These are cream, as I said, and they have that thicker consistency in the beginning when you layer them, and then you can blend them out. So the work here is applying a thicker layer and then blend it out to shear it out. This is the way I'm using these eyeshadows. With the BYREDO, I built up the intensity. With the Fara Homidi, I sheared out, so I toned down the intensity. So nothing revolutionary in terms of color, but they are very flattering, classy colors. And this allowed me also to be more experimental in the sense that I like to mixture textures. So I can also use glitters on top of this because these are a little bit sticky. But I prefer to use these as they are because since they move around and they crease, yeah, if you put something on top, it will crease as well. I mean, because this base is creamy, so it will move through your skin. So I prefer to leave as they are, as a wash of color that gives that lived-in effect that you can get not in hours, but just straight from the beginning. It's already lived in. This gives the concept also of the violet ones that I purchased, so review is coming soon. So that lived-in look that you can achieve since the beginning. I think the looks that I achieve are sexy. I can tone it down, but the resulting look is darker, smokier than I usually wear. So to me, is also a way to experiment more. That joyful and playful aspect of the makeup is what this triggers. And for that reason, I'm happy for my purchase. But at the same time, I recognize that the same look could have been achieved with some other creams I already had, as well as beautiful satin eyeshadows. I'm trying to film a real application. So this is the trio. So the idea here is to use the darker color and to get that lived-in effect. So I deposited the color. I'm gonna blend the edges. It's a mess indeed. I need something with more body. I'm trying with this Pro Crease brush by Sephora. It's number 26. So yeah, the idea is to have something smoky that moves over the time, and it's fine to me as long as it's a veil of color. And I noticed that the best way to do that is just doing the darker color first. My favorite color is this middle one because it's the lightest and I can do it just a one and done type of look. But today I wanted to use more. I'm loving this brush that is 26 instead of a number 3 because it has more body. It has a thicker head. So this is the result. And I will film it afterwards to see how it evolves over time. I just wanted on one eye a simpler look. So with this, I like to use refer brushes, sturdy natural bristles. And this simple look will be just the middle shade all over and some deepening with that top shade that is the brown. As you can see, this is the perfect one and done. It gives color, but it is not overly dark. And I could stop here, just to say, this is the 15 mini. Personally, I would prefer something flatter. This is rounded for blending. There's a sheen, but it is given by the cream formula. That is the sheen that I can see, the wet sheen due to the cream that I apply on the skin. I can use a synthetic brush to trace a line with that deeper brown. This is the top brown. Gives a more intensify effect. Sometimes I use it, I stamp it on the lower lash line. The bottom black to intensify a little bit more. It's more of a optic effect to make the lashes look fuller. Maybe I can complete with this basic Kiko eyeshadow. Is 17, is a matte pink. I will use just for the inner corner, and yeah, having something brighter in the inner corner and on top here. That would be my everyday look. To be honest, I'm experimenting more with that smoky look that I achieved yesterday. This is a check-in 2.5 hours later. You can see that the eyeshadow has creased, but yeah, since the color is light, it's less visible than the case when I use the smokier eyeshadow. Now with the finger, I will try to fix it, distributing the cream better. I find it, nice. I have something on, you can't really tell. You may say, yeah, it's a creased eyeshadow. Yeah, it may be something worn out, but I think in real life it looks okay. So this is the situation after 6 hours, yes. Yeah, I would say it's pretty much the same. Of course, it was just a wash of color, and I would say that maybe there's nothing left. Looks like just my eyes with a sheen, oily coat, but is the eyeshadow. Let me know if you have purchased this, if you like this, if you still use it. It's been a few months since this has been released, so I decided to wait a bit, but I was so attracted by it that I then decided it was a good purchase for me. Curious to know your feedback, your comments, and let's chat in the comment section. Until next time, bye!